Is up, ladies and gentlemen? We're excited. I'm excited to be back. It has been a few weeks. As you guys know, we used to do these on Saturday, but we've moved them to Tuesday. So I'm excited to be back in the chat game, doing some live streams. I'm excited. Love to know where you guys are watching from this evening. Make sure my audio is working well. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from. Also, let me know this microphone's working. That would be wonderful. Greatly appreciated. But we're going to get into it today. I'm excited. We're going to talk a little bit about some cool things that are happening here in the Tampa Bay area. We got some new exciting things opening up for the family. I think that people, well, even if you don't have a family, I think that you would enjoy this thing that we're going to share today. We're going to talk about some cool events that are coming to the area as well. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about real estate, of course, because that's what we do here. And as an added bonus, y'all, I have a special guest today, which I am super excited to share with you guys. And we'll get into that momentarily. But hey, if this is your first time to this channel, my name is Juan Alcala. I'm a licensed real estate agent, and I help people just like you buy, sell, relocate, and invest here in the Tampa Bay area. We make videos that are all things Tampa Bay, what it's like to live here, what it's like to work here, what it's like to play here, the food, the dining, the outdoors, the beaches, and the sunshine. So if you're into that sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to the channel. But also just let us know where you're watching from today, because we love doing the live streams because it's a great way to connect. Do not hesitate to ask questions during this live stream. I will try to get as many of the comments and questions as I possibly can. We spend some time between 30 minutes and an hour with each other, and then we'll kind of work out through there. But appreciate everybody letting us know where you're watching from. We've got Stella from Michigan. What's up, Stella? Where about in Michigan? I would love to know where you're at. That'd be awesome, because my understanding is it's a little bit cold there today after you guys experiencing some 85-degree weather for the last 3. That is typical Michigan weather, and that's why we moved. So I'll feel you on that. Derek says he's watching here in Tampa. What's up, Derek? Thanks for watching, being supportive of the channel. I appreciate that, of course. We got Aloha from the Big Island. That's what's up. Appreciate the support there. Larry, my man, still in New York. That's good. Hope to see you soon, brother. Thanks for hanging out, watching. And then who we got here? We've got Ramon from Rhode Island. That's awesome. Thanks, guys. It's an absolute pleasure. Always great to connect. That's my home turf, Stella. Canton. I'm a Plymouth Canton graduate. Graduated from Plymouth in 1996. There's a fun fact for you. So that is my backyard. We lived in the Sunflower subdivision just south of the high school. That's where that was my spot. So thanks for letting me know. Elijah from Cincinnati, Ohio. What's up, my man? We just connected the other day, so pleasure to reconnect, and also thanks for supporting the channel. So we appreciate that. But I want to get into this today, y'all. So thanks for watching. Thanks for being such a great audience. Pam says she's watching from Pennsylvania. So what's up, Pam? Glad to see you. Thanks for supporting the channel as well. But I've got a special guest. So I do want to get into that right away, because y'all, things have gone extremely well for us here in Tampa because of your support. It's crazy. I was looking at these numbers last week, and we've already had, as of last week, right around the beginning of this month, we had 160 people reach out to us directly from YouTube. That's not anybody local. That's not anybody, past clients or anybody else, but strictly from your viewership, considering moving to the Tampa Bay area. That is a staggering number. And I guess it shouldn't really surprise me with over 1,000 people moving here a day again. That started to slow down for a minute, and then it's really started to ramp back up. I was doing a whole bunch of homework and ran across the stats. Just over 318,000 people, almost 319,000 people moved to the state of Florida in 2022 alone. And that's starting to accelerate again, 1,000 people a day. I don't know if we'll keep that up. That seems like a crazy number to me, but it is accelerating pretty quickly. But, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you who trust in us, believe in us. And it's been such a blessing in my life and in my family's life that we've, had to bring, other agents onto the team to help make sure that you guys are serviced. So it's been awesome. We brought on Marcia. I know you're not able to meet Marcia today. She's been with me since November. It's been going awesome. She's wonderful. You'll get a chance to connect with her. And if you probably have already seen her on a few of the videos, we've done some property tours with Marcia. We did the Bradenton video with Marcia. She's awesome. But we also are still in a position where we need to bring on more people to support you guys, because what ends up happening is I'll get a phone call or we'll jump on a Zoom call with somebody just like you who's considering making that move. And then you'll give me a date or time that you're going to come in, or you won't. And that's kind of how it's been happening. It's like, hey, we purchased plane tickets and we're going to be in 2 weeks, or we're popping in this weekend. And as you know, unannounced guest, while we love that, and I'm sure you do too, that could be a little bit, topsy-turvy for the household, right? How do you manage having guests that you didn't know were coming? So in order to make sure that you guys all are serviced at a really high-end level, we need to continue to grow the team. And I want to introduce another one of those teammates here in a moment. I'm excited to bring her on. She lives in Dade County, or I'm sorry, Dade City, which is just north of Wesley Chapel. She's also lived in Wesley Chapel. And Wesley Chapel is a very popular area right now. That Land O'Lakes, Lutz, Wesley Chapel, Odessa area is just exploding. And, I live about an hour drive time away from there. Trust me, I know it like the back of my hand. I have been to Wesley Chapel more times than I care to admit, but that's okay. I know all the neighborhoods. I know all the nooks and crannies. I know the best restaurants. Like I actually really, really like Wesley Chapel. It's a cool place to go hang out because of all the amenities. I was just at Crate this weekend, and if you guys don't know what that is, I'll pop that up and show everybody what that is. But I was at Crate, and I couldn't decide what I was gonna to eat. There were so many different options out there, but there's just so much to do in the area. But we needed help. So Marcia lives, to the south of me. I'm going to show you on the map here. Marcia lives in Bradenton, Florida, which is just about 35 minutes south of me, just over the Skyway Bridge in Manatee County. So she's supporting the St. Petersburg, bottom half of Pinellas County, Sarasota, and Manatee County. And then we brought Stacy on. Oh, I let the cat out of the bag. We brought this guest on to cover the northern end of the Tampa area. So North Tampa, Pasco County. And, we really want to make sure that we're taking care of those clients. And we are looking at bringing on at least one more agent on the team to make sure that you guys are serviced well. So forgive the long introduction here, but I just want to say thank you first and foremost to our viewers and people who trust us enough to reach out and have those Zoom calls. And most importantly, trusting us to help you make this relocation a reality, or your investment a reality. And we want to continue to serve at the highest level. So we are going to continue to bring on people who we know are going to treat you guys with nothing but the best service, amazing respect, and make sure, most importantly, that we match your ideal lifestyle with the ideal community. So without further ado, I would love to bring on our special guest this evening, Miss Stacy Eman.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here and to join Juan's team.
That's awesome. So Stacy is, drinking through the fire hose, so to speak. One of the requirements of being on the True Living group, is the fact that you're going to have to get in front of a camera, whether that's through a live stream like this, or that's, doing virtual tours with clients from, different states. You're going to be on camera. There's no doubt about it. So Stacy didn't get as an option. I was like, hey, guess what we're doing tonight? She's like, okay, let me get set up for that. So super proud of you. Thank you for, jumping on and, first of all, meeting the community here. And y'all, she's wonderful. We're going to get in a little bit of her background here in real estate, but also, what she knows about the community, because ultimately that's why we brought her on, because not only is she a great realtor, but she is also very knowledgeable about Pasco County. And that's really where I wanted to make sure that we were diving in and serving you guys well. So Stacy, welcome to the team, first and foremost.
Thank you.
And she jumped right in, y'all. We hired her, and then we were out in the streets, showing houses and getting clients under contract and writing offers. And it's just there has been no downtime. Right?
Very crazy.
There has been no downtime.
A good, fun, crazy.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind. Talk to us about how long you've been in real estate, and just a little bit of background about yourself.
Okay. Well, me and my family moved down to Florida about 9 years ago. I'm originally from Indiana. When we moved the family down here, my kids had one going into high school, a 7th grader, and then one in elementary school. So I can totally relate to the stress and anxiety about uprooting your family and moving them thousands of miles. So I had a great realtor, actually, and that's kind of why I decided to get my real estate license. He even helped us unload our truck because we didn't know anyone in Florida. So I just love that. And I was like, I want to help people. So that's why I got my real estate license a couple of years ago. We
That's
lived
awesome.
in Wesley Chapel for about 6 years, and then we moved a little farther north to Dade City.
And during your time in Wesley Chapel, like what have you seen change there? I mean, it's growing so literally it feels like week to week it's a whole different place. But like, what have you seen? What attracted you to the area to begin with? Like, why did you come?
Well, the potential for the growth. I mean, my husband did the research, and he knew that Wesley Chapel was going to explode. I mean, when we came down and was looking at the area, it was just, a 4-lane highway and green pastures on both sides. I mean, there was just nothing there. There was actually a mall. So we were like, there's going to be a lot going on here. And sure enough, it's not even close to the same place when we moved in 9 years ago. I mean, outlet mall, ice skating rink, restaurants everywhere, so much to do. Shopping, so much shopping.
There is so much going on. Yeah. And I love that. Like, that's one of the things about the area. And it's interesting. So we just had a couple come down from the Northeast this past weekend, and they sent us an entire itinerary of like, hey, this is where we're going to go shop. And I call it community shopping, right? And Stacy and I talk about this when we're on Zoom calls with clients, is like, our goal here is to match your ideal lifestyle with the ideal community. The houses tend to take care of themselves after that. That's really the process here. And they gave us a great itinerary. They had been doing, they've watched all the videos. They had been doing their homework. They kind of knew where they wanted to go. And they came down and they were staying in Wesley Chapel. And they absolutely, I got a message, at the end of the first day, we love it. We haven't done anything else on our agenda because we're really enjoying the community here. And they were asking questions. They took the kids to a park and they asked families that were in the park about the area, which is such a good way to get to know the community. And that's the same thing that Kate and I did when we moved down, right? We ended up in Dunedin. We came down and stayed in Indian Rocks Beach, and we ended up in Dunedin at Weaver Park talking to families. And they were like, this is awesome. Like, this is a great community. And that's why we ended up trying to buy a home in Dunedin. And I told the story before. We wrote 2 offers on 2 different houses, didn't get accepted. And that was prior to me selling real estate in Florida, right? We just needed help just like anybody else. We couldn't get them accepted. And we ended up closer down towards Indian Rocks Beach. And it's been wonderful. We love our community, but that's what we tried to do. But the experience was the same. And the thing that happened for them was they really, like, between the shopping and all of the amenities that there's so much recreational stuff to do alone in the area. It's not just Wesley Chapel. Wesley Chapel is wonderful, right? Like, make no mistake, if you are looking for newer homes, community amenities, pools and parks and all those things, like, it's a great place. But also the supporting area, the shopping centers like Crate and the Tampa Premium Outlets, and they've got Costco there and Target. Like, that anchor there is really important to the community, but it also serves Land O'Lakes and Lutz, right? So like you don't have to be in Wesley Chapel specifically. And, there's pros and cons of everything, right? Like, we talk about pros and cons all the time on this channel. oftentimes your greatest strength is also your greatest weakness, like, because of that growth, if you've been living in Wesley Chapel 5 or 8 years ago, like, you're probably losing your mind from all the traffic now for people in there, and the continued, like, there's a new construction development every day. And like, there's definitely a lot going on. And, you're starting to see that suburban sprawl to the north up in Murata. Stacy and I were just out there this week at the Biscayne home development out there. Went and seen a beautiful home, the Osprey 3, with it. It's got a gorgeous courtyard. We'll have to show you guys. Gorgeous home, right? Pools in the middle of it. And just a great opportunity to check that out. But that entire northern Pasco, 50, 54, 52, 56 area up there, that region, that 6 mile parallel stripe there is really just exploding. There's a lot to do for a lot of different people. So you don't have to be a, plugged into all the things person to find a good place to live in that area. You can be laid back and kind of be off the grid a little bit still, because as you said, Stacy, you can still drive down Curler Road and see, cows right on the right-hand side. And then on the left side, you look over and there's a 7.5 acre man-made lagoon. It's pretty interesting. Right. So
Yeah.
I think the community is definitely, one worth watching. But I wanted to get in some cool stuff that's happening locally, and also talk about some of the this new thing that's coming into Citrus Park. And I'm really excited about this. I'm a total nerd at heart, in case you hadn't recognized that. I love when you can go someplace and just hang out and not have to go to 5 different places to get one thing done. I'm all about being efficient, if you will. And there is a really cool experience coming to the Tampa Bay area, in Citrus Park specifically, and it's called Elevate Fun. And I want to share this with y'all. So let me throw this up so everybody can see it. We are going to share this bad boy. Where are we? I think you guys are going to get a kick out of this. Wait till you see this thing. Cool. So this is an indoor family fun park is what they're calling it. It's called Elevate Fun. And they've already opened one of these over in Sanford, Florida, which is just north of Orlando. Makes sense that it came from Orlando, right? And they're opening this facility in the old Sears building. So if you guys, if you didn't know, most of the Sears, or all of the Sears in the United States, have closed. And this is attached to the Citrus Park Mall over there. And that's a 125,000 square foot building, if I read that correctly, which is a huge indoor space. And this indoor amusement park coming is pretty cool. And I want to show you guys some stuff. So they've got all kinds of things going on here. Yeah. 125,000 square foot space. I mean, what in the world? So it's in the Citrus Park Town Center. It's opening up on May 15th, y'all. So be on the lookout for that. You better believe that my butt will be in there with the camera. You're going to get firsthand. I've already reached out to them, trying to get in before the crowds do, hoping that we can leverage the YouTube channel a little bit. I'm trying. I've never tried to big stuff anybody before, but I was like, maybe these guys will let me in, so we can share this with you guys ahead of time. But I'm excited to go check this out. You can get an arcade pass, and I want to read some of the stuff that they've got planned inside of here, because I was watching the video and it was just amazing. So they're going to have bowling, a full 12-lane bowling alley inside of it, which I think is awesome. They're also going to have a mini golf course inside with glow-in-the-dark mini golf, which that's what was going on up here. So that's indoors. In Florida during the summer, that's actually really important.
Yeah.
It's really important. They opened a Pop Stroke up in Wesley Chapel, which I'll show you guys here shortly too. But I'm telling you right now, in August, in the middle of the day, my butt ain't standing out there, because there ain't no shade. So we'll get into that. But this is pretty cool. They've got arcade games and esports, which is awesome as well. Dark ride, I'm not even quite sure what this thing is going to be. An Omni Arena. This go-kart thing I thought was fascinating. Check this out. There are cars for both adults and kids reaching top speeds of 45 miles an hour indoors.
Oh,
Yeah, they're electric, fully electric, right? So This is one of the times I am a proponent for electric vehicles indoors during the summer in Florida. I think that's a great idea. Laser tag, axe throwing, and of course, there's going to be a bar and grill, because why would you not ever have axes and alcohol in the same time? I mean, if you're going to do axes, you got to do it right. So just looking at this thing, they've got some cool photos of the work they're doing in here. Again, they're scheduled to open May 15th. So we're about a month out. I think that this is really cool. If you guys got something like this where you live, let us know in the comments. I would love to know. I've been in Dave and Buster's before, but this is like Dave and Buster's on steroids. I've never seen a go-kart indoors that can go 45 miles an hour, and a bowling alley and all these other things that they have in here. So I just thought this was a really cool opportunity to check out something like this in the local area. Really cool opportunity. So we'll share this with you guys when the time comes for sure. So I'm excited about that. Stacy, I mentioned that briefly the other day, but I know you hadn't had a chance to wrap your mind around it. There's some videos on YouTube. You know what I'll do? I'll link it in the description, y'all. So if you really want to kind of check that out, I'll put the news report in there, and they show the one from the Orlando area, which I think is great. So it's something definitely of note. We talked about Pop Stroke, Stacy. That's been open for what, 2 months now?
Yes.
It's a little over 2 months.
Yep.
I'm gonna pull that.
My family and I went right after they just opened, so it was super crowded.
Okay.
But we went in the afternoon, and it heated up very fast, and there was no shade, and there were lines. I kid you not. Like, for every single hole, we stood in line for probably 10 minutes before we could even putt.
Really?
But but it was so much fun, and there were, I think, 2 different bars, and they come around and take your order, and it was really fun. We'd like to go back when it's not so busy and calm down a little bit.
Yep.
But yeah, it was a good time.
Makes sense. Let me see. The website's not loading for some reason. Forgive me, y'all. What was your favorite part about it outside of the sweating?
Well, I actually got 2 holes in one, so I was excited about that.
Okay.
And I jumped around and embarrassed my teenage son. So
there you go. I'm sure he was thrilled. None too happy about that, right?
Yeah. He was not happy. I was acting like a fool.
Oh, their website is actually down. Let me see if I can grab some images from the opening, though. We'll do it that way. Here we go. Sorry, y'all. Sometimes things just don't work the way you want them to work. That is the beauty of live streaming. I don't know how many times I tried to share something and it dies like right as I go to share it. You're like, oh, that's awesome. Thanks. So Pop Stroke is this concept. It's Tiger Woods is the investor here, y'all. And I know these photos are going to be a little bit tougher to see. Let's see if we can get a zoomed in image of this. But Tiger Woods is the investor behind Pop Stroke. And think of this as what's the golf driving range right now? I can't think of that. It is evading me. Top Golf. We got a Top Golf over in Riverview. They're also opening one up near the Gandy in Pinellas County. So they've got another one being opened up there. But this is the other side of that, right? So like you're driving and you're hanging out. You can have some food. You can have some dinner. But here you're able to come in and you're going to rock out just putt. It's adult putt, right? So like they've removed
typical looking putt course,
right? They removed the Pirates of the Caribbean theme or whatever theme we've got. Gators. If you're putting in anywhere in Florida, there has to be a gator in a pond, or it doesn't really like what fun did you actually have, right? So they've removed all of that. You don't have to worry about any of that happening here. If a ball goes, off into the sand, the bunker there, you can pick it up and still get to keep your hand, which I think is cool. But they also have they have really good food. We went to the one in Sarasota with clients, and I was actually really impressed. The dinner was good. I was expecting to have like bar quality food, just not great. But I think it was more along the lines of like let's say upscale casual, but definitely on the like. It was better than I expected. You know what I mean? And a lot of the times you can be disappointed when you go see things like this. So full bar, beer. You can have it delivered to your hole, which I think is awesome, right? So there's a little app where you can order the food. So like, think of it, if you're on the course and you're going to be eating in the next 20 or 30 minutes, you can go ahead and order your food ahead of time. You can order drinks to the hole that you're at, which is really cool. But like I was saying before, as you can see here, there's nowhere to hide from the sun. So like, something to be mindful of. This is definitely something that you're going to want to do early morning or late evening here during the summer months. And then all winter, this place is just going to be rocking. We went down in January when we were in the Sarasota one, and it was just awesome. So I think it's definitely worth the visit. It wasn't crazy. I think it was like $35. But there's 18 holes, and it's a full, it's an experience is what I would call this, right? Ping pong tables. There's something for everyone to do. The one in Wesley Chapel, I didn't see it. The one in Sarasota had a playground, but the one in Wesley Chapel actually has a tot lot is what I hear them called, right? So definitely something for the kids to do as well. I mean, obviously they'd have fun putt-putting, but here's a shot of the food. Yeah, and I think I had some fish tacos when we went. So pretty cool.
And you have more than one course. It's not just one. You have, I think, 2 different rounds of the 18 hole.
Yeah. It's all day. The pass is good for the whole day.
Right.
So forgive me for not sharing that, but when you buy a pass, you can go as many times you want in a whole day, which I think is also really valuable because, I mean, heck, we've got a local putt spot here that has like 3 or 4 different locations, and it cost me all of $80 to take 2 of the kids. Right? Like, it's not cheap. So I just thought that was a great, it's really cool, man. I'm not disappointed in the level of detail that went into that. Some things like that can be kind of really like, okay, Tiger's Woods, his name's behind it, but like, what does that really mean? But I think that they did a really nice job. It is designed well. It is designed to have fun. Like it's an experience. It's not just putt. Like, you can go hang, watch a game, do whatever you need to do. So I think it's definitely worth checking out. So I wanted to share that with you guys because, we talked about Wesley Chapel and cool things to do. I think that's definitely something fun to do. We talked about Elevate, which is that indoor, amusement park, so to speak, which is really cool. And then we've got some local events coming up that I think are awesome and of note as well. So let me pop those up to you. One that is near and dear to my heart, and y'all can make fun of me if you want, because, if your name is Juan, how do you not like tacos or tequila for that matter? Right. Like, and I'll make fun of myself here. Like, I was born with a shovel in my hand, type of thing. Like, I owned a lawn and landscape company. I mean, like, who doesn't when your name is Juan? I'm kidding, by the way. Don't get so sensitive. But like, not kidding about owning the company, but definitely, I love tacos. love tacos. My wife loves tacos. We could eat tacos every day of the week. If you follow this channel at all, you know that anytime I get around a taco, I'm always willing to share it. If you're in St. Pete, Casitas Taqueria is one of my all-time favorites. I think they do a great job. The tacos aren't crazy expensive. They're delicious. The churros are wonderful. You can get as fat and happy there as you like, and you don't have to spend a ton of money, which is awesome. But most importantly, they just do a really good job. Their barbacoa is great. The shrimp tacos are excellent, so I'd encourage you to do that. But Saturday, May 13th, they are having a taco and tequila festival in St. Pete. And you better believe that you will see video from that too, because my butt will be down there. Me and Kate have already, we are honed in on this bad boy. We're going down there to check it out. I don't know what all the food trucks are. It doesn't matter. All I know is events like this are, we live for things like this. And if you're from the North, y'all, you try to do this spring, summer, fall thing just to cram all it in, you can. So it's the same thing here, but now we're kind of shifting gears and getting towards the warm season and the rainy season here. So, it won't be long before the farmers markets really start to calm down for the summer, because no one likes to stand out in the street and just sweat. Right. So they tend to start peeling back on some of those things. Right, Stacy?
Yes, for sure.
Not nearly as many outdoor activities. Today was wonderful. I woke up and it was 60 degrees with no humidity up this morning. Ooh, it was so nice. And I think it got to 80 and there was no humidity today. So definitely happy about that. We've got little to no rain over the last 2 months. It poured the other night, and it was so like, normally I don't get excited about rain, but I could hear the thunder coming off the Gulf because we live pretty close, y'all. And it was the first time I had heard thunder in months. Right. I was like, finally, we're getting some rain because my grass has been looking pretty pathetic. Pretty pathetic. All right. So let's talk about, some of the things that we're seeing out there right now. What's going on here? I'm just checking out some of these comments really quick. There he says, I worked with Juan. Great dude. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. That is awesome. Ronnie, my local here, Ronnie, well, he either still lives in Clearwater and is considering moving to Wesley Chapel, or he has made the move, because last time we were on the live stream, he made mention of that. Stacy got her first shout out. Thank you, Stella.
Hi, Stella.
We appreciate that. Another question here. Is that other lady you introduced? The other lady's name is Marsha. That's Marsha Railton. No, she is definitely still with us. She just wasn't able to make tonight's live stream. And she's standing us up for the next 2 weeks as well, because she is going to Europe. So congratulations, Marsha. Yes. That's a big win. Definitely excited for that. So all good. But yeah, man, like that, we're starting to see some things, in the market that are pretty interesting. And I want to talk about this a little bit with y'all. We'll talk about some more of the fun stuff too, but just what we've been seeing. It was essentially the second week of January that it was like a light switch turned on in the market. November and December were really bad. And I mean, they were like down. Everybody was like uncertain, elections and interest rates and everything was going crazy. And people were just really apprehensive to do anything. And our phones really slowed down. And then I remember it was like it was yesterday, because I went back and looked at all this stuff. On the 10th of January, it was like someone flipped a switch and all of a sudden the phones just started ringing, and we started taking calls from people just like you guys watching, and considering making the move to Tampa here. And it just was like electric. It was electric. Everything just took off, and the market's been cranking down. And we were with clients who are also from Michigan, by the way, and they're looking to pick up an investment property here that ultimately they would move into. And it was that weekend, and I could sense that we were starting to ramp up and that it was going to start getting tight again. But it was that weekend where the property started going, and we were going to write an offer on a property with those clients. And actually we did, but they ended up accepting another offer. So we went and found another property that had been on the market for quite some time. It was almost 2 months. We put that property under contract. They had an inspection. It didn't go necessarily great. So they decided they wanted to opt out, and they did. And then while we started looking for another property, they found another property, wrote an offer. It was multiple offers. They didn't get their offer accepted. Then they went back to the other property trying to get it under contract. And in just the one day that they were off the market, they had 5 new showings and then ended up getting an offer that day. So I was like, okay, something's happening, right? Like I could sense the market, and I always watch the numbers, guys. If you know me, you know that I watch the numbers, and I'll share them with you here in a second. And it's just been fascinating to watch, because if you're watching the national news, it's been all gloom and doom, but what it didn't show was what was happening. Real estate is very, the numbers come out well behind. Like you won't hear numbers for April until almost the end of May. And a lot of things can happen during that time period. And we're starting to see that in the marketplace. And Stacy can attest to this, because we've just spent the last month running around like crazy with clients, and we're back in multiple offer situations in a majority of the properties. Okay. And we're in multiple offers on move-in ready. And I want to share, this is an important distinguishment. Okay. Because inventory is up. You'll see that number, like inventory skyrocketing. Like that's true, but versus last year, that's a useless stat, because there weren't any properties on the market last year. If you're looking at early last spring, we were so low in terms of number of homes listed. It was just very difficult to operate in that environment. And we're up 100%. But when you're up 100% and you were down 80, the numbers still don't pan out. And what we're seeing here is we've got 2 types of homes in the Tampa Bay area. We've got turnkey and move-in ready homes, meaning that the home is, you can move right in it. You don't have to worry about the roof or the AC or any structural problems. It may not have everything perfect, but it's in good shape. And then you've got the completely renovated homes that are gorgeous. Everything is taken care of. It's turnkey. Like you move in, whether that's brand new or a resale home that's been renovated. They're both, those homes are moving very quickly, especially in desirable neighborhoods. Okay. I want to show you guys some stuff here, and bear with me because I know it can get a little, Juan likes to nerd out on numbers, but I want to show you where we are and where we're trending towards, because I'll get a phone call. Hey, I'm looking at price drops. You know, this home's been on the market for 180 days, but you know, it's very hard to judge why those homes are doing that unless you really know the area, number one, because these things are neighborhood specific. It's very local. Real estate is very local. And without knowing, you know, the types of homes that you're going to see in those price ranges, right? And that's one of the big things I want to kind of focus on today, because I was going through this article in Redfin, and I'll put the link to the Redfin down below. I usually almost always keep it in the descriptions, but I share this with you guys because this is public info that any person has access to. You don't have to be a member of an MLS in order to have access to this. But this article just came out on Sunday, I think. And it says this: housing market update. Buyers can't buy if sellers won't sell. And what we're experiencing right now is this lock-in effect, okay, where everybody's got these really, really low mortgage rates, like 28% of the country, okay, according to BlackRock, 28% of the country has mortgage rates under 3%. That is fascinating. So people don't want to give up those great mortgage rates to go out and compete, because if they do, they're going to get less house for way more money, right? And it's becoming very difficult, you know, for people to make the decision to list their home. You stack on top of that 40% of, roughly 40% of the homes in the United States don't even have a mortgage on them, right? They don't have, it's like, why is somebody going to go sell a home that they own outright to go get a 6.5 or 6 3/4 or whatever it is? Rate's been volatile this week, so we'll look on this. But here was the thing that I saw. New listings of home sales are down 25% from a year ago, marking the 8th straight month of double-digit declines. It's making it difficult for buyers to find homes and giving the sellers a competitive advantage. I share this with y'all not to scare you, because that's not what I'm doing, right? We're gonna get into real numbers here in a second, but I want you to understand the landscape of what's happening here. 1,000 people are moving to Florida every day still. That is insane. And we're not building homes to the tune of 1,000 a day. We were behind before we even got started into the pandemic. And if, depending on what site you go read, they can say we're as behind as much as 6 million homes. It's very difficult to catch up with that, especially with the demand. Now, nationally, numbers are quote unquote down, okay? But a majority of that is coming from the 8 states in the West. So we're talking about, you know, Washington, California, Nevada, Arizona, the Dakotas, you know, those states over there, Utah, where their real estate is down significantly, as much as 10%. I mean, the Austin market's down like 10 or 13% right now. And Dallas is up 10%. So wrap your mind around that, right? Like, it's very different when it comes to real estate. Again, it's very local. So this is something you want to be mindful of. But we do have to be mindful of what's going on here. Down 25%. That number is real, okay? And then it gets into the mortgage, where people have their mortgage rates. And I did a whole video on this, so I don't want to go crazy on this, but you know, with every time rates dip a little bit right now, the buyers who have been on the sidelines, who want or need to buy a home, they're jumping back in the market, which is putting even more stress on the limited inventory that we actually have. Okay. So I just want to share some of that. We're going to get into these numbers a little bit, but I want to show you what's going on in the United States housing market. And then we'll get specifically into Tampa and talk about some areas that we're servicing right now. As you can see, year over year, on all home types. So that's going to include single family homes, condos, townhouses. On all home types, we're up 3.3% year over year in the United States right now. So when people are telling you that all real estate's down, well, that's not true. Okay. We're actually up. What is down is the number of homes sold. And you can see this here. And I want to take this chart back even further because I think that this is something that we need to be mindful of. Okay. And this is exactly where I was talking about last year. Look, we were already super low on inventory. People were losing their minds in 21 and they were losing their minds in 22 because there wasn't enough homes. And that's what was driving that crazy amount of demand. Right. Oh, I want to make sure you guys can see Stacy. Oh, we didn't
have your article up.
Yep. Hold on. I got to switch tabs for you guys. Forgive me. I moved too quick. All right, let's do the whole screen. That way we're not messing that up. Oh, we can't do that either. This is joys of live streams. We'll get it right. Second verse, same as the first. Screen share. Okay, bear with me, y'all. Just want to get this set up so we can move. Window. Okay. There we go. Forgive me. All right. So single family homes, 400,000. This is the median price of a home in the United States. You're up 3.3% year over year. And this is what I was showing you. This is what I was referring to just a second ago. This is the number of homes sold is what I'm working on now. Okay. This is 21. This is 22. Do you see how ridiculously low it was during that time period? This is the beginning of the pandemic over here in 2020. 22, super low. This is when people were just bidding on top of each other like crazy because there wasn't enough homes. If there was a house with a pulse, people were getting after it. Look how low the actual number of home sales is now, right? Even lower than those two. So the market is super slow. Like there's still movement going on, but here's what I want everybody to take note of. Remember when I was talking about that time frame when things are starting to change? Look at the trajectory of this thing now. It's really starting to ramp up. And that's something that I want to make sure that we're being mindful of. The average 30-year mortgage, 6.5%. So this is why, and it's been volatile. It went down a little bit over the last few months. Now it's starting to go back up a little bit, but it's kind of been hovering around the 6.5%. So this is something to be mindful of as we watch this, right? But look at some of these sales prices in the South here and what's happening. I think this is something well worth looking at overall. Like Savannah, Georgia is up 21% in their entire marketplace. That's crazy. Fayetteville up 17%. Tallahassee's up 17%. Notice all of these areas, except for Milwaukee, are in the South, right? And Milwaukee's up 11.2%. Shout out to Milwaukee on that. That's pretty incredible. We're going to get into Tampa here in a minute. U.S. housing supply. So this is what we're talking about this again, like March of 2021, 1.4 million homes. The number of newly homes listed. This is what I was referring to. Like we're down 23% year over year nationally, and December was the rock bottom there. And like I said, remember how I said in December we were super slow? Well, here's the data that shows why. There was nothing going on. January started to move up, and then as you can see, we're really starting to rapidly move up again. The median days on market. Here's the other thing I want you guys to be aware of. You know, it was going up. Days on market, meaning how long it took to sell a home before it went under contract. But as you can see now, that's starting to fall. And I'm telling you, when these numbers come out next month, that's going to be even down further. So something to be mindful of as we kind of pay attention to what's going on in the marketplace here. All right, now I want to get into Tampa specifically, and then some neighborhoods and areas that we're referring to. So as you guys can see, Tampa's still rocking and rolling here. We're up 9.3% year over year. The median home price is $410,000, but we are also suffering through the low inventory and the home sales going down. So, you know, something to be mindful of. But you can see the number of homes sold again is starting to uptick. So keep that in mind as you guys look through the market here. What else did I want to show you? The migration pattern. This is almost to the T who's calling us right now. So if you're in New York, if you're in Washington, D.C., Chicago for sure. God bless you guys up in Chicago, man. I got to say, you know, we're working with two sets of clients right now that are moving from Chicago. And, you know, I'm from Detroit. I'm a Midwesterner. And the second city was we used to go there all the time, right? As soon as I could drive, we would, pool our cash and we would go to Chicago and hang out there for the weekend. We love Chicago, and to see what's happening in that city right now. And this isn't like, I'm not here to get political. It's too bad. Right. It really hurts my heart to see what's happening in that city right now with, what's happening. You guys can see it, the crime and what's going on there. It's crazy. And it doesn't surprise me that that's where these phone calls are coming from. So this map sharing where people are moving from, to the area here when it comes to moving to Tampa. So, we're taking phone calls from all of these areas. So we definitely know that this is real. I think this is worth noting and sharing with you guys as we kind of go through those details. So if you're looking at moving here, here's what I want you to know. I'm not trying to scare you. I just want you to understand when you walk on a playing field, right? If you're going to play a new board game, it's very helpful to know the rules, right? Would you say that, Stacy? Like, is that a fair statement, Stacy? Right?
Yes. You want to know.
When you come down here, just be mindful of the fact we do have a competitive market. And what I know is I've got friends in Pittsburgh. I've got friends in Toronto. We still have a team of agents back home in Detroit. I have a partner up there. It's still a very competitive market in that entry level or first time home buyer price range. We don't have that here in Tampa. We don't have a $250,000 single family home. If we do, it's typically in very poor condition and in a very it's an area that needs some love. It's the best way I can put it, right? On average, you're going to be looking to that high 300s, low 400s to start anywhere in the Tampa Bay area. That's just for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath that's in good condition. And you got to be mindful that when you come into the areas, we are having challenges with insurance. So I think that's something to make sure that I follow up and share with you guys. You can get insurance on a home, but they're not writing new policies on homes that have roofs older than 10 years old. That's super challenging. So the homes, and this is what we're talking about, the homes that have been renovated that have new ACs, new roofs, those types of things, these things are going super fast because they don't have any problems. They don't have challenges in getting insurance, and they're not expensive on that end. So like, it's something to be mindful of. If you're in a flood zone close to the water, and you got a home that's got old windows, an old roof, your insurance is going to be expensive, and expense is relative. I don't know what you pay at home, but in this area, you can pay a lot of money quick. We've got clients right now that their flood insurance is looking like $5,000, right? That's not for the homeowners. That's just for the flood. Now, I live in a non-flood, non-evac zone. I'm less than 2 miles from the beach. My insurance is nowhere near that. Right? Like my insurance is it's only double what I paid up north. And that was for a home that was only valued at $125,000. And our home is worth way more than that. Right. So like, these things are relative. I don't know what you pay, but it's something to keep in mind. This is a question that you're going to want to ask based upon the area that you're going to live in. And what we do with our clients now is when we get you, when we find a home, you write an offer and you get under contract, during that due diligence phase, we're having you reach out to the insurance agents then, so you can know what okay, is this doable for me financially? Does this make sense? And we're targeting properties that are in non-flood, but for my clients that live on the coast, those people typically don't care. They're chasing down their dream, and that's okay. They're good with the exchange, right? So just know what your goals are, and we'll help you accomplish those. So I think that's something worth noting, and just really want to follow up on that. And then I want to show you guys the last 7 days and just talk a little bit about some of the stuff we've seen in the market. Specifically. Okay, cool. We got this up already. So hopefully you guys can see this. I know it gets a little bit small when we jump in here, but the thing I want to share with you on this is, let me see if I can expand this. That's even better. Expand this out a little bit. The red box over here is the last 7 days. So I'm always watching this. Every single day I watch this number, and I want to share with you the trends. I just showed you some charts and some trends on what's going on in the marketplace, but I just want to share this with you because I think it's important to note. All right. So new listings over the last 7 days are 1,178. That number's been pretty stable, somewhere between 1,000 and 1,200, basically for the last 6 to 8 weeks. I do these numbers every single Monday. You can go follow me on Instagram. They're all in there, by the way. The price increases, that's pretty low. Typically, that's a builder in the area. And this is for Pasco, Pinellas, and Hillsborough counties. Okay, so that's what we're looking at here. Typically, these are builders. They're raising prices every week again, or every other week. This is common on new construction. Price decreases are 1,183. Again, those properties were mispriced to begin with or aren't in good condition. Those are people who's taking price decreases right now. If your home is priced appropriately, either at or just below market value, and it's desirable in terms of like it's got all the it's been renovated within the last 5 to 10 years, you got a good roof, all those things are moving super fast. Okay, so keep that in mind. This was as high as 1,800 price decreases every 7 days, so that's changing quite a bit. The back to market, which is how many properties fall out of contract. Stacy and I just had one fall out of contract yesterday because of inspection. By the way, our client, I wouldn't have bought the house either. I can't tell them that. They have to make their own decision, but I would not have bought the home. Same thing. It was a completely renovated home. And this is where having a good agent is super important. It was a completely renovated home, right? And I remember I asked Stacy, I said, because Stacy was in the home, she showed the clients virtually. I said, talk to me about these things that you saw in there. She's like, actually, the roof is 16 years old. I'm like, well, that's not completely renovated, but do you see how when they write the descriptions, they make them pretty? Well, that's nonsense. That wasn't a completely renovated home. The roof had a hole in it, y'all. I mean, if I showed you the photo, you'd be like, what the heck? That's why having a good agent or good team behind you is important. The inspector was extremely thorough. We found all kinds of stuff in that house. So happy that my clients did not decide to go that way. Also, the pending property. So this is what I want to talk about. Pendings are up to 1,675. So here's what I want you to keep in mind. There were 1,178 new homes that came to market for sale over the last 7 days. There were 1,675 properties that went under contract. So how many homes, Stacy, are we already behind?
A lot.
500, almost 500 for the new week, right?
Yeah, just for the week.
Yeah. If this doesn't say 2,000 next Tuesday and 1,000 on pending, we're in trouble. You see what I'm saying? Like the inventory is continuing to shrink. We've got 1,178 new listings. We had 1,675 homes sold. Excuse me, I'm reading the screen over here, and 1,340 sold. Right. So 1,178, 1,675 pending, and 1,340 sold. Y'all, this has been a trend for the last 6 to 8 weeks. All right. So that's the thing I want everybody to be mindful of. So if you're considering moving the area, y'all, I know people are like super scared of like, I get the crystal ball question all the time, and I'm going to wrap this up with this. We get the crystal ball question all the time. People want to know. So first and foremost, I tell everybody, like, I'm not qualified to tell you that. If I knew that, I would be sitting next to Warren Buffett. Right. And oh, by the way, Warren Buffett did not predict the last real estate crash. Right. No one did. There was like one guy. They made a movie about him. Go check out The Big Short. Right. That entire thing was fueled by real estate. The market that we're in right now, if we have a real estate correction, it's not because of real estate. It's because of the economy. These are different things. We have a supply and demand issue in the United States. We most certainly have a supply and demand issue in the state of Florida. If you have 1,000 people moving here a day and you're not building 1,000 new units to house those people in, this is basic economics, right? So when you look at Florida as an investment long-term, do you believe in it long-term? Okay. That's a question you have to ask yourself. I have lived here for 4 years. Prior to the pandemic, homes were appreciating somewhere in the neighborhood of 7%. So people were already starting to really move to Florida at a quicker pace. And then it got accelerated when the pandemic came, and it has not stopped, right? This state is for all intents and purposes booming. Our unemployment rate in Tampa Bay is at 2.5%. National average right now is 3.6. We need people. Okay. You got 1,000 people moving to the state, let's say 25 of them are moving here. We're one of the big metros. That's 25 new households that need to be addressed, right? That's 25 new, people going to Publix or Costco or the restaurants. Like, we need people to help support this economy. Our economy is continuing to grow and accelerate. That's cool. I can't predict where things are going, but in the long run, as an investor myself, as someone who's studied real estate going on my 11th year, I'm long on Tampa. You don't have to be. Do your own homework. That's why I do these things. But I can share the resources with you guys to help you make a qualified decision. I have clients that I have spoke to almost 2 years ago that told me that they were going to wait till the market turned. Meanwhile, real estate has increased almost 50% since then, or not more. Okay. And a good correction. I mean, San Francisco's down 10%. That's a humongous correction, right? 10% is not going to get you back to the number that they had an opportunity to buy at, right? Meanwhile, they're paying rent or whatever it is. And again, this is an argument. I'm never going to sell anybody on anything. It's got to make sense for your lifestyle. But the one thing I do see happening in our economy, and go study history, the haves are continuing to have more because they're the ones that own the real assets. In times of turbulent economy, people are worried about our dollar right now. Where do you think that the people with money are putting that money? They're not investing in the dollar. They're investing in real assets like gold and silver and real estate. Go read history. Don't take my word for it. Okay. But here's what my belief is, and I'm okay being wrong here. My belief is that if I don't do something for my children, the odds of them being able to buy a home 20 years from now is going to be very difficult because wages don't keep up, right? In the United States, real estate has gone up 10% in the last year. Real wages are only up 6.4%. And oh, by the way, inflation is also chewing that up like nobody's business, right? So if I sound passionate about real estate, I am. If I believe in real estate, if you hear me think, this is not salesperson talk. This is Juan looking at history, right? And data. Will there be a correction at some point? Absolutely, there will be, right? Question is, will you be holding something that went up, and were you able to take advantage of that? Or are you going to sit on the sidelines and let it go? These are questions that you have to ask yourself. Again, not here to try to convince anybody of anything, but real estate over time as an asset class has proven itself time and time again, right? I've shown the Fred chart so many times. I'll do that before we shut this down. I got one last question for you, Stacy, so we can wrap up and rock and roll. So let me pull this last thing I want to share with you guys because I think it's important. Stacy, what are you seeing out there? Like, you've showed so many homes in the last 3 weeks. Like, what are you seeing on average? Like again, speak to, this is anecdotal, but with your own eyes, showing properties, being with clients, like, what are you seeing in the marketplace right now?
Well, I mean, you said it. If it's a home that has been taken good care of and has been updated, it's not staying on the market. And we're going against multiple offers. I mean, there was one situation where I called the listing agent that morning to make sure the house was still active and there was no offers on the table. To that afternoon, we went and looked at it. My clients wanted to put an offer in on it, and I call when we leave, and they had just accepted an offer like 5 minutes before I'd called. So yeah, I mean, you said it. If it's priced right and in good condition, it's going, and you're having to fight to get it.
And what should they be looking for? I mean, ideally, what type of property are you seeing? Again, we see the national average, or we see our average at $410,000, but you and I are out in the streets every day. Is someone getting a good quality home at that number? There are some areas, y'all, Riverview, Brandon, Apollo. There are some areas that allow for this, right? But the highly desirable areas, right, the ones that most of you guys call us about, I mean, where are we really looking in terms of actual dollars being spent?
I would say mid fives at the lowest. I mean, to have an updated home, most everyone wants a pool. to be in a neighborhood with all those nice amenities, you're looking at least in the 500s.
Yeah. The 4-bedroom, three bath with a pool at 2,000 square feet for 400 grand is very difficult to come by. And if we can, it usually is not in great condition. But they're there, y'all. Like, you just got to be diligent and pay attention. But I'm just sharing this with anybody who's looking at this going, okay, does this make sense for me? Does this make sense for my family? Because listen, it does not fit into everything. I just did an entire video on what it actually costs to live here in Tampa Bay. And I know I do the cost of living videos every year, but y'all, we just did our taxes. We just finished them on Monday, right? Yesterday. And I stacked up my butt because I was reading all these articles, and I came across an article that said that the nuclear family, in order to live in Tampa Bay, you really need to be making $141,000 a year. And I was like, is that real? And Kate's doing our taxes at the time. She's like, tell me what numbers you're coming, because I started doing the math, right? I was like, okay, give me this section. I didn't ask her to give me the number outright. I said, okay, what do we spend on this? What do we spend on this category? What do we spend on this category? And I started doing all that homework. And you guys will see this video. I think it's scheduled to be out by the end of the month. But our numbers were crazy similar. Like, I came up to, and this was just me doing the writing it out. I knew that we were overspending versus other families in specific. Like, our family spends an absorbent amount of money on food. Now, I have 3 feral savages. Those are my children, by the way. I love them dearly. But I have a 10-year-old son who I think has a tapeworm. He might have 3. I don't understand what's happening. Maybe I ate like that when I don't know. But my 4-year-old daughter, I mean, we get I think the only word she knows is snack, right? Maybe y'all can relate. But my wife tries to take care of the family by investing in our health. Like, we don't look at food as necessarily an expense. It is, but we also recognize the better quality food that you take in, the more likely you are to have a healthier experience in your life overall, right? Like, science has proven that. That's not conjecture. So we're not afraid to spend a little bit more there and take away from somewhere else. But we were going through these, and like, I was looking at websites that said that the average family budget for groceries is $500. Who is doing anything with $500 for a month in groceries? Like, and if you are, please let me know, because that's incredible that you're able to make that work. I don't feel like we can walk into Publix and walk out for anything less than $40. And God help you if you go to Target, right? Like, does anybody walk out of there for less than 100? It used to be 100. Now it's probably 2, right? Right. So like, I went through these numbers, Stacy, and like, that's what it said, 141 or 144. And I came out to like 137 is like, that was a number you needed to do that. Now, this is a nuclear family. So let me set this up.
Yeah.
2 adults, 2.5 children, Fido. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, a home you're buying today at 6.5%. That was the math I did. Right.
Wow.
And that was putting 10% down, because that's about the average down payment and the numbers were just absorbent. Let me read these to you. Yo, I know we're going long here, but let me read some of these categories I came to. So the mortgage on that property that I just said, and that was a $450,000 purchase at 6.5% with 10% down. That's a $3,500 mortgage roughly in Tampa Bay, with insurance and taxes. That's a real world number, y'all. That's not that's on average what I'm seeing with insurance on a property like this and taxes. So $3,500 a month for the same home that people were getting for like $1,900 a month 2 years ago. That's why people don't want to sell their houses, right? Some of them can't afford to. Right? Who can go from $1,900 or $1,800 a month to $3,500 a month on your mortgage? That's tough, right? 2 cars. I saw the average car payment for a new car in the United States in the end of Q4 is $716. Most people have 2 car payments. And then you stack up insurance and on top of that. And I put $1,500 in there as a budget, but I know that's short if you're with 2 new cars that you bought in the last 6 months, right? We have 1 paid off. I have 1 lease, and then we have 1 paid off. So, and with insurance, our insurance doubled here. So we're paying double insurance. We're paying $4,000 a year, right around $4,000 a year for our auto insurance for 2 vehicles with full coverage.
Well, just wait till you get teenagers.
Oh my goodness.
I'll double, triple.
Student loans. Now I don't have student loans, neither does Kate, but they said on average the people have $250 in student loan payments. I know people who are overachievers in that category, and I know people who are underachieved as well. So I just went a $500 a month budget. Gasoline. I assume that somebody's working from home, somebody's not. So both cars are being filled every other week. That was kind of the assumption that I went with. And that's $300 a week, or I'm sorry, a month in gas. You might be spending way more, y'all. Phone and internet, $300. We spend $310. So I was like almost to the T on that one. That's cell phone and internet coverage. Food and dining, I put $1,500 for the nuclear family. I don't know. Stacy, do you know your budget for groceries? Is it somewhere around there? And dining?
For groceries and dining? Well, we don't eat out much. Yeah, I don't even know.
Okay. Well, I put 15. Like it said 500. I don't know how anybody feeds 2.5 kids and a dog, right? I know the dog's not included in the dining, but like they cost money. We put them in miscellaneous. All right. So
I was gonna say, when I had all 3 kids home, I didn't get out of Walmart under $250.
And how often were you going there?
In a week, every week.
That's right. So at least a grand.
Yeah.
At least a grand.
And that's not including eating out. So
that's right. So again, I think we're pretty close there. Utilities, I got us at 510. So that is electric, gas if you have it, water, sewer, and trash. Okay, so that's what we got for the month at 510. We use a little bit more than average, I think, because I got older windows in my house. But you can assume that you're going to be doing 200 in electric. We have a pool also, so we have a pump running all the time as part of the process. But I don't think $500 is like between all your utilities. You're pretty close to there, Stacy, right? 400 maybe on the cheap end.
No.
What are you paying?
And in our other house in Wesley Chapel, I would say in the middle of the summer on the high end, our electric was 400, and that was with the pool and a hot tub.
Yeah. So we can see that in August. We've had $400 bills in August.
Yeah.
Yep. But on average for us, we're about 500 on average. That's where we land because December, January, and February are awesome. We have very little. We're not running the AC. The pool pump's not hardly ever running. Like there's all that stuff going on too. So just sharing this with y'all. And then we put $500 a month in miscellaneous. I think I have no idea where to put that. Right, like. I don't have a clothing budget. We barely buy, like, I'm very laid back. As Stacy knows, I'm a flip flop and shorts and t-shirt guy. So like I'm pretty low drag on that stuff, but we have a dog. So we put the dog food in that category, and like, staples, home supplies. If you're going to Home Depot, like garbage bags, like that kind of stuff is going to be in there. So $500 a month, I think is fair. And didn't know what else to put in that category. And then health insurance, like on average, people are paying $560 is what those websites said for health insurance. So if you have a job, the employer is paying a portion of it. If you're blessed enough where they're paying 100%, God bless you. Congratulations. You're a unicorn because nobody's doing that anymore. But you're typically making some kind of contribution, even if it's in an HSA or, for your down payments. And then on top of that, I added 20%. So that's how I got to my number, 10% for taxes and 10% for savings. And then that's what got me to that 131 number. It was crazy. And like I said, they said it was 144, 480. That's what the website said. And that was as of 2022. So I'm not trying to scare anybody. I don't know what people make, right? Like I know the average salary in the United States is somewhere like 58 or 63,000. So if there's 2 people in a household, you're really close to that number. If you make a little bit more than that, congratulations. If you make less, then I think it would be very difficult to live in Tampa if you can get by on a lot of things, right? Like I realize that surviving is different than thriving. So I'm very cautious about this when I say this out loud, because I don't want like people to think that, I'm not paying attention, because I am. I grew up in a house where my mother had to cut the milk with water. So I understand like how difficult things are. I had government cheese where you cut the moldy end off and just keep rocking it. And I'm not like running around like, hey, be proud of me. I know what that life looks like. That's not thriving, right? That is surviving 101 right there. So, if I had to guess, you need to be making 60 65 to 65 grand to be able to have your own apartment and a car and kind of do the things. And, you should be shooting for 75 to 80 if you want to travel and do stuff and pay off your debts and whatever. And again, I'm not even assuming any credit card debt, which every family in the United States apparently has. Right. So I know I'm long today on this, but I think it's important to kind of cover some of this stuff. And I wanted to show that last chart, Stacy. Okay. So this is from the Fed, right? This is the Census Bureau gathering all this information, Bureau of Labor and Statistics. This is the S&P, the Fed, they call this the Case-Shiller report. So if you ever hear that, this is what it is. Now, this only goes to January of this year, and I already showed you how that number started to track up again, so keep that in mind. They won't release this data again until like the end of first quarter here. What I think is important for everybody to note, because this was where I left off before I went tangential there. Every one of these gray bars is a recession. That's at least 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP, gross domestic product. Okay. And in the 1990, this was the dot-com bubble. I think, trying to remember. No, 2000s was the dot-com bubble. Trying to remember where all this was, right? Like I was super young there. I was still in middle school when this was going on. But this was a recession. What I want you guys to note is what happened to real estate during this time period. Did it go up or did it go down? Stacy, what happened here?
Went up.
It stayed pretty flat during the gray bars there, right? Like, but it didn't go down. They think that a recession is synonymous with real estate going down. But what I want to show you is that that's not entirely accurate. Look at what happened in 2001. Real estate actually went up during that time period. This was during a recession. Now, this is real estate's fault. I tell everybody that whenever we're having a conversation. 2008 to 2010, terrible lending practices, unscrupulous activity in real estate between everybody involved. Okay. There were great people working in the industry at that point. I'm not here to point fingers. I just know that some of the interest-only loans, there was all kinds of nonsense and chicanery. Like if you had a pulse, you could get a mortgage. Right. And that led to the demise of real estate. And people think that the bottom was in 2008. It wasn't. The bottom was actually in 2012. Now, this is Tampa specific. You can go look this up in your own area. But since then, real estate has gone up. Right. It has just continued to work through as an asset class. So this is going all the way back to 1987, I think. Right. If you go look at nationally, they do this all the way back to the Great Depression, and you'll see the same cycles. There have only been a couple of times when real estate has actually dipped during those recessions. Okay. So again, is this a stable, right, asset that has proven itself over time? These are the questions that I have to ask myself. I don't leave it to anybody else to help me come to the conclusion. I appreciate the people that are doing this research to share this information with us, but I still have to make a decision on my own. Here's what I know. Anybody who's bought a home and owned it for 20 years has never been upset when they sold it. Anybody that's bought a home and held it for the last 10 years, these people are not upset at all. Right? Everybody's had a real good run here. Okay. Are we going to have a correction at some point? Yes. We can't keep up at this pace. And this is what I was talking about earlier. But my personal opinion, things are going to continue to get more expensive. Even if real estate has a correction, it will do its thing, and then it will go back to what it was doing before. Even if that's stable, steady growth, 2 to 3% year over year, which is, I would much rather see this type of growth. Let me clean this up. I would much rather see this kind of growth, because that means things are moving in a meaningful manner where the average person can keep up, they can work, they can save, they can do those things. When we see stuff like this, that's when we have problems. This is an inflationary period. I don't know if the Federal Reserve is going to get it under wraps. They may crush the economy while they're doing it. That's when you'll see real estate slow down even more. But at the end of the day, like I said from the beginning, we have a serious supply and demand issue. And as long as that continues to be the reality, which it is currently, we're not building our way out of this problem that we're in right now. And if the Federal Reserve has to turn around and reverse course because they put too many people out of work, because that's the only tool they have to slow the economy down right now, then what they've proven, this isn't hyperbole, what they've proven to do during that time period is go back and start printing money, which lowers interest rates, which is going to drive demand again. Okay. Sorry for the history lessons, y'all. Forgive the fact that I love to beat everything to death with a hammer. But this is important. I know that for the working family in the United States, realistically, if you don't own a business, and this is what I'm talking about, if you are a W-2 employee, one of the only ways to building a real legacy or having any kind of wealth in your family generationally is through real estate. There are other ways to do it. I recognize that. If you own a business, you have the ability to scale and generate more income. If you go to work on January 1st, already knowing what you're going to make at the end of the year, that's not a reality for you, right? And what I'm seeing in this economy right now is that the gap is that acceleration between have and have-nots is continuing to go forward. The average home buyer, the first-time home buyer, is 34 years of age. I started this whole thing talking about my 10-year-old son. So it's going to be 24 years from now. It's the median sales price of a home right now is $410,000. If it doubles in 10 years, which if you go back and look at history, it is done regularly, that means it could be as much as $800,000. I don't think for 1 minute that real wages in 24 years are going to be, what is that? What do you need to be? That's going to need to put you at about $200 to $250,000 a year. That's not going to happen. Do you think that's going to happen? I'd love to know. Put it in the comments. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So enough of my tangent rant tonight. As you guys know, I love real estate. I love it. If you guys want to get hold of us, if you're considering making a move or investing in Tampa because you see what's happening here, y'all, West Chase is up 30%, almost 31%. It was 30.7% year over year. West Chase is. That's the suburb of Tampa on the northwest side. 30.7% year over year, and we have 6.5% interest rates. Oh my word. If you are considering investing in the Tampa Bay area or moving in the Tampa Bay area, do not hesitate to reach out to me and my team. Shout out to Stacy. Shout out to Marcia, right? We are here to serve. Okay. This may not be right for you now. We'll make sure that we walk you through that, right? I don't have to sell you guys anything. We love what we do. But if this makes sense, if you want to move down here because the sunshine and all the things that the Tampa Bay has to offer, I encourage you to investigate that. And if it makes sense for you and your family at this time, do not hesitate to reach out to us. If you are in the Tampa Bay market and you're watching this and you're considering selling and you have one of these unicorn homes, meaning that like it has been renovated and you've been thinking about it, reach out to me and the team. You are in a great position right now. All right. So with that, Stacy, welcome to the team. Number one.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you for being you've just been incredible to the clients already. She's gone above and beyond. She was writing offers at midnight on her second week here, y'all. Like, shout out to this girl. We don't require that, by the way. That is Stacy doing her work. You are in good hands with her. If you are considering moving the area, do not hesitate to reach out to us. We are here for it. Stacy, welcome to the team. I'm proud of you. I'm grateful to have you here. I know Kate and Eric and Marcia, everyone on the team here is grateful to have you. Y'all, we are grateful to have your trust, for the more than 160 people that reached out to us so far this year. For those of you who are viewing and are regular viewers of the channel, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Please take a moment to subscribe. Click the like button, y'all. That really tells people that this video is valuable. I know I went pretty deep on some of this stuff, but I just want you to know that like I'm passionate. I'm looking at these things. Like I don't have all the answers, but I will certainly share insights with you so you can make qualified decisions and be comfortable with your purchases or your investments. So until next time, y'all, go out and live that Tampa life. Later.